If you're thinking about buying your first home and this whole process is completely new to you, then let's talk about one of the most important steps, and that is the home inspection. So I'm going to share with you today a real world experience that one of my clients had, and fortunately, she had a great experience. I'll be showing you the home inspection itself, and then the request for repairs, and then ultimately the results of that request and all the repairs that were done. So this will give you an overview of what the process looks like. Understanding this process can help you avoid costly mistakes, and I want you to be an informed buyer. So just before we get into it, my name is Jay Schwartz, and I'm a realtor right here in St. John's Metro. If you are looking to get active in the market, whether you're buying, selling, or investing, then please reach out to me. I'd be happy to work with you. You can call me at my number or text 709-725-9226. Also, all my links are available, whether it's Calendly or my email address. Feel free to reach out. All right, let's dive into it. All right, so this is the report that my client received, and different inspectors will have slightly different looking reports, color schemes, the way they present the information, and so on and so forth. But generally, they all have a summary at the beginning, which points out the high attention items that they believe are in the report. So here, let's go through them in this one, and then we'll just skim through the rest of it, less important. So they pointed out here that the deck was starting to settle and is uneven, or that it may be caused by poor workmanship, which on further look, it didn't seem like that. It definitely was a settling issue. Here, they also pointed out vinyl siding observed as loose, damaged, missing in noted areas. So this is right underneath that deck. Just this top piece was missing. Now here's one they pointed out that set off red flags in my client. And I guess part of this whole exercise of showing you this is to show you that the reports, when you first get them, there's so many pages, there's a lot of red text. It can be a bit scary, but don't get too alarmed. So this one is the roof. Due to cupping and curling, the roof may be nearing the end of its intended design life. Recommended review for repair by a qualified roofing professional. So in this instance, we know that this house was only 10 years old. Uh, and asphalt roofs like this, the minimum lifespan is generally 20 years. They can get up to 25 depending on environmental conditions. So here in Newfoundland, I'd say it's better to be cautious and err on the side of short lifespan, so 20 years, because of all the intense winds that we get and precipitation. We get a lot of that. So in this case, like 10 years, that's still mid lifespan. And the inspector, because they're in such a high liability sort of business, it's to their benefit to point things out more often than not, so that they don't get sued potentially, because there is a lot of differences in the home inspection business because it's not regulated. So they have to protect themselves to some degree. So they will point out things, and it might seem scarier than it actually is. So in this case, my client did get a bit concerned about this. Obviously, nobody wants to have to pay for a new roof in the next, year, 2 years, what have you. But we do know it's mid-life span. And this is also one of those items that the seller is unlikely to negotiate on, because that's at least a $7,000, $8,000 repair cost. And generally, when they put the house up to list, they know what condition the roof is in, and that's generally not something that they're going to address. So let's keep moving along. We have next, cracking in noted areas and evidence of previous repairs observed. The inspection is unable to determine the effectiveness of these repairs to prevent moisture intrusion. Recommend a review by a qualified professional. So here we're addressing the foundation cracks, and you can see the yellow was some sort of rubber cement that they tried to seal with previously. And I don't know how many years ago it was, but it's obviously not holding up. And foundation cracks are very common. When they pour foundation on the exterior walls, there is, 99% of the time, there's no rebar inside the uh, cement pour to help kind of maintain the structure. So foundation cracking is very common. It can lead to leaking, but it's nothing to get too alarmed about. It can be addressed, as you will see. Now here's the big ticket item so this was a 10-year-old home, right? And the inside of the house is gorgeous. It seems flawless upon first look. And this is one of the items that I was not expecting, and neither was the seller. They were unaware of this, but it did come up, and this is a big ticket item. There was widespread mold uh, in the roof sheathing inside the attic. Excess moisture can cause the mold growth and can cause a safety concern. Recommend review by a qualified professional. So in this scenario, uh, we find out a bit more about why, well, we speculate to why this happened, which I'll address when we get to the repairs. But as you can see, there is black all along the sheathing here on the inside of the attic. And nobody wants to move into a moldy home. This is a big concern, huge red flag for my client. Next, we will address the toilet bowl is loose at floor anchor bolts. The wax ring inside the unit must have a snug, secure fit in order to not leak, which is obviously a big concern. You don't want sewage leaking anywhere. Properly resealing and resecuring this unit is suggested to prevent water leakage and damage to the subfloor area. This type of damage is not always visible or accessible to the inspector at the time of inspection. And then here we have a safety concern. Panel cover screws missing in noted areas. Recommended the panel be properly secured and approved with flat tip screws installed by a qualified electrical professional. So here is a very simple fix. There's 6-point screws on this panel. There's only the two middle ones that are there present. The top two and bottom two are missing. That can be fixed. Um, you know, if you're a seller, you can go check that, fix that in advance. You can fix that probably for $1. Just go to Home Hardware and buy some screws. So that doesn't even really need to come up, but it did, and that gets addressed, no problem. Okay, then in the inspection, they got a little introduction, kind of prepping you on how their inspection is presented and what to note. So like for instance here, he goes over all the different colors of text that he uses and what they mean. We keep going, and now it gets into the full report. So each section is outlined, and they go over. So here's the exterior, he did the front, he did the back. There's the final siding note. Here's the roof in more detail. Goes over all the downspouts for the eaves trough. Here's more detailed siding, or sorry, more detailed foundation cracks, photos, attic. So part of the attic is fine, as we can see here. And then this part of the attic is got black mold, which is not great. But here we go. So now we're in the main living space, and you're going to see as we go through this home, like it's pretty clean. Smoke detectors are still active. Here he took off a couple of panels to access the water shutoffs. Smoke detectors are good. Kitchen looking good. Nothing to note. He doesn't note. No alarms here. Bathroom's looking fine. I think this is where the toilet is though. Yeah, so this is where the toilet is. He points that one out. Another half bath was nothing happened in there. Nothing happened in the ensuite bathroom. Primary bedroom, no issues. No issues in the spare rooms, both of them. Basement bedroom, no issues. Smoke detectors were good. Laundry area was fine. And then exterior electrical was fine. And this is where he notes the panel wasn't properly secured. So pretty straightforward. The water heater was still good, wasn't expired. And the air exchanger was fine, needed to be cleaned. He noted the filters need to be changed and or cleaned. So plumbing was good. And then he's got glossary here. So that was the entire inspection from this inspector to my client. Pretty straightforward. Like I said, the home was in generally great condition. So now let's get to this. So this is the part where I, as your realtor, come into play, and we need to request some repairs to make sure that you're getting the home you want in the condition that you want. So in this scenario, my client wasn't too concerned about the back deck or that missing piece of vinyl siding, so we didn't request that. In some cases, it really depends how many items there are. You shouldn't be afraid to request every, item that the inspector puts in the high alert kind of section there. But in some cases, you don't want to request them all because you will scare the seller off and potentially kill the deal. So you want to stick to the most important ones to you. So in this scenario, my client just wasn't bothered by those ones. So she requested the toilet bowl be fixed. The vendor shall have a qualified professional reseal and secure the toilet bowl, replacing the wax ring to prevent leaks. Proof of completion, including invoice and photos, shall be provided before closing. So it's always important that you ask for evidence. If it's written in the amendment, then they have to provide it. If they don't provide it, that is one reason maybe not to move forward on the deal. The vendor shall replace all missing panel cover screws with approved flat tip screws. Proof of completion, again, is requested. The vendor shall have, so here's how this is the cracks. The vendor shall have a qualified professional assess and repair foundation cracks and verify the effectiveness of prior repairs. Proof of completion, including invoice and photos, shall be provided before closing, as always. And now here's the big one. The vendor shall have a qualified professional remediate mold on the roof sheathing and address any underlying moisture issues, including improving attic ventilation if necessary. Proof of completion, including invoice, photos, documentation of ventilation improvements, shall be provided before closing. And then the final one, this one I put in there to help address the roof issue to reassure my client that everything was fine. The vendor shall have a qualified roofing professional assess the roof's condition and confirm it is not contributing to the attic mold issue. If any issues are found, necessary repairs shall be completed and as needed. Proof of assessment and any required repairs, including an invoice and photos, shall be provided before closing. So let's go over how this was handled. In a lot of cases, the seller may get a different contractor for each job, trying to save money. In this scenario, the seller went above and beyond and got First General, and they are a company that will do basically all the contracting jobs. They did pay a premium for this, but it was nice to receive one kind of compact report that just explained everything. So they addressed everything. Number one, the identified toilet was removed and a build-up ring was added along with a new wax seal and toilet bolts and then sealed and secured. Number two, missing screws were sourced and installed on the electrical panel. Number three, the foundation and repairs were evaluated. Further work was completed to 3 non-structural shrinkage cracks to provide further protection from surface water penetration. Number four, First General provided remediation in the attic. First General has remediated the attic area by HEPA vacuuming the attic area, applying a mold discoloration stain remover, and finally applying an antimicrobial agent to the areas to prevent possible future growth. While the stain remover will remove most of the spotting and discoloration of the roof sheathing, Some of the wood discoloration would remain, but there would be no active growth present. The cause of the discoloration is unknown to First General, as there did appear to be adequate ventilation. So there was adequate ventilation, and sort of what myself and the listing agent sort of speculated is that possibly when this home was being built, the wood was left outside and it might have got wet and it might have been put up wet. So the mold came later, but they used wet lumber. That is our guess. And then finally, a roof inspection was completed. A missing tab was identified and repaired. The plumbing flange was also required additional roofing cement. No leaks were observed in the attic. The overall condition of the roof was viewed as good. The shingles on the roof appeared to be in good condition and were reflective of their age. Perfect. So here's where we get into the evidence. So here's the before with all the black mold, and then here's after. They did a fantastic job removing this mold. It looks great. You can see before, after. In each scenario, it basically is completely gone. And they added that antimicrobial agent to prevent future mold, which with proper ventilation shouldn't be an issue anyway, but better safe than sorry. So, and then here's where they address the cracks, the foundation cracks. You can see they even got this one here. You can't even see anything in the before photo, but there's 1, 2, 3 that they dealt with. Here they removed the toilet, replaced the flange, brand new. And here they added the screws in the electric panel. That's a small, easy one. Now here's the roof. So most of the roof was deemed as good. There's the plumbing, the plumbing vent. So they added some extra roofing cement just to make sure no leaks happened. And here, not here, no, next one. Oh, next one. Here, there was one missing shingle tab. And now this could be pretty common with the intense high winds that we get here sometimes, like 90-kilometer plus winds. So they replaced the shingle tab. Small, minor fix, but they handled everything. This is sort of like a best case scenario experience. So this is what you kind of want to look for when you're getting your home inspection. You know, they don't necessarily have to use First General, the sellers, but they should definitely provide proof from each contractor, very much like this. And your realtor, if you already have one, should be writing these clauses in very great detail to protect you. So I hope you found this helpful as a first-time home buyer, or maybe even an experienced home buyer. And if you are looking for an agent to help you out in the metro area, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to work with you. All right, have a good day. Bye. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video educational. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. It helps support me and the channel. And if you are in the market and you're looking for a realtor and you want to work with me, then feel free to reach out to me directly. Links are always in the description. And also, you might want to check out one of these other videos.